Well. Lego Ninjago versus Lego Monkey Kid. Why do we compare these two? I don't know. They're completely different themes. There's so much, divide amongst the Lego fans of which one is quote unquote better, Monkey Kid or Ninjago. This is a full comprehensive review where we have a Monkey Kid expert, Daniel Lewa, and I will be taking the side of the Ninjago fans this video. We're going to discuss everything: price, number of sets, displayability, build experience, play experience, variety, minifigures, and more, and really get down to the bottom of this. This is not some weird review where we're comparing two random sets. We're not asking Reddit. We're doing this with our knowledge.
I'm really excited to get into this because this has been a battle and a discussion that people have been having when Monkey Kid first came out. And yeah, there are a lot of similarities. They're geared toward a similar demographic as far as ages. They are both action adventure original Lego themes. Besides all that, they're very, very different in a lot of ways. Yes, they both have mechs, they both have dragons, they both have crazy quirky stuff that's going on. But by breaking it down into these different categories, hopefully we can provide some insight as to why some of these things may be more preferred than another, and why some people may prefer one theme over the other. Are you ready to get into it, Matt?
I love Ninjago. Disclaimer, we're not going to be mentioning anything really about the TV shows. In our eyes, Lego sets are Lego sets. It's a Lego company's choice if they want to make some spin-off TV show about it, but we're judging on the physical product, not whose show is better, whose show has the better animation style, whose show makes more sense. I know that the sets have to do with the show. We are going off Lego sets. Thesis statements. Give us a hint, Daniel, as to what you personally think is better between the two before we go in.
I will say this. I have been a fan of both themes for many years and have collected quite a few of sets, actually many sets, from both Ninjago and Monkey Kid. And they're both very enjoyable in their own ways. However, I will say this. MK is unrivaled when it comes to the sheer quality of all of the sets. And that is to say, the displayability and playability combined makes it for a great experience, not just for kids who want to play with it, but also for us AFOLs who also enjoy good build experiences, good display experiences, and sure, can interact with the sets from time to time. But MK fills that void of tapping into your inner child while still providing something that is very displayable and can be appreciated of those over the age of 18.
Counter thesis as the Ninjago devil's advocate. Ninjago is the better theme because, as Daniel Lewa mentioned, it can be enjoyed by children. Monkey Kid will be enjoyed by children. Well, children aren't going to be able to afford this, first and foremost. Ninjago provides a great variety of price points from $10 to $100+. Not only that, you get a very large variety every new wave that you go into. So let's just get into our first subject. It's a hot one. Price. Do we really want to be spending a lot of money on our Legos? Like I said, Ninjago has a large variety range, and they're made to be a little bit more accessible, right? To younger audiences. You can tell a lot of the sets are geared a little bit more towards younger audience, but that doesn't mean the adults are counted out. The adults are well accounted for. If we're looking at 2023 particularly, we got the Ninjago City Markets, which is $370 for 6,100 pieces. Can we talk about an amazing value? Holy crap. We do get some mature sets as well with decent price points, such as Temple of Dragon Energy Cores, such as Destiny's Bounty Race Against Time. I think those are all enjoyable by adults. Destiny's Bounty, $160 for 1,700 pieces. It's looking good on the price side for Ninjago.
Sure, that may be mostly true, but have you added up how much it would cost to buy the entire 2023 Ninjago wave? $1,471. And if you take away this Ninjago City, it's still $1,101, okay? As reference, Monkey Kid, all of 2023, $815. And you get the entire year, all the sets, all the figures, everything that you need. So I will have to say that while some of the sets are pricey, you get what you pay for, and the value is really good. So yeah, if you want to get all of the sets for a single wave for a single year, all of Monkey Kid 2023 is way cheaper than all of Ninjago 2023.
That's great if you're a completionist, but if you're just getting inserts from each wave, did you know that the average Monkey Kid set of 2023 was $90 for price? You take the average. Now, that is just hurting my wallet. So price, we gave our points. What do you think? Who wins, Monkey Kid or Ninjago? We talked about money. Let's talk about quantity, the number of sets.
MK, while it may not have a ton, it still had 9 different sets that you could buy and a poly bag. So 10 sets in total. And that's a great solid number. You don't really need any more than that you've got all your bases covered within those 10 sets.
I would say that matters if you're a completionist because with the Ninjago, there's so many entry points you could get into. Myself personally, I don't really care about the dragons. I get all the mechs, just the mechs themselves, and there is some dope mechs. I think with the amount of sets that you get from Ninjago, which is what this 2023 was like 34 or something, is a pro. More different entry points for people to enter in and more dragons to be rising. What do you guys think? Quality over quantity? Let us know. Displayability. Man, I have in my living room as we speak a glass case full of Ninjago Titan mechs. That is how dope some of these are. I literally got some of the mechs. I put them on my desk and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take them apart to switch out with something else. I couldn't bring myself to take apart some of these Titan mechs. If you think Ninjago's just about playability, you're sorely mistaken. There's a lot of really dope displayable sets within this theme. Okay, Mr. Sassy, why are you giving me that face?
I don't know, just if we look at the majority of Ninjago sets, a lot of the lower priced ones, they're not necessarily ones that you could proudly display all the time. I'm just saying that if you do, that's fine. But if we're having a debate, let's look at the dope Monkey Kid sets. You have so many that are really cool. Dragon of the East Palace, the Megapolis City, Flower Fruit Mountain. Anybody could display that as like a nature thing, as an MK scene. What's great about Monkey Kid is that it is derived from Journey to the West, which is the Chinese novel, Chinese novel from the 1500s, tons of Chinese lore and mythology and everything. And all of these really big sets, like the Heavenly Realms, directly pull from that mythology. And so you can display it, even if you're just a fan of cool mythologies, of Chinese folklore, of Journey to the West, all that stuff. There's so much color, there's so much going on in all of these. And if you want to talk about mechs, MK has some of the craziest mech builds. The Ultra Mech, the Warrior Mech, and kind of, in my opinion, blow a lot of the Ninjago ones out of the water in terms of personality.
But just since you mentioned the point of the Journey to the West and where Monkey Kid theme derives from, quote unquote, let me just bring up this point. Monkey Kid, surprise, derives from Ninjago and wouldn't even be here if it weren't for Ninjago
What?
itself. Let's be honest. Ninjago has this illustrious history. We don't got to talk about it now, but let's be frank here. If Ninjago never walked, Monkey Kid could have never ran. Build experience. My argument for build experience. Since Ninjago has such a deep history, they want to make sure their sets are quality. They want to make sure that kids are loving playing their sets and building their sets, as well as adults. Build experience is just always so fun with a Ninjago set because every new wave, you're getting brand new figures and a new theme. You always get brand new molds for like every Ninjago wave. They pump money into this theme, and they do for most of their themes, but they make sure that their Ninjago is greased up, there's coal in the fire, and it's screaming. The build experience is never subpar with Ninjago.
I would say that MK elevates the build experience. It's like Ninjago walks so MK could run, as far as making a build experience that is very detailed, tons of going on. The colors are beautiful. Let's just take a look at like things like Megapolis City and the City of Lanterns. The fact that you build up all of these little city modules, and then you, as the builder, can decide how you want to arrange all the different mini builds. That offers a level of creative freedom that Ninjago sets don't offer as much as the MK sets. So you also have things like the Bone Demon, where you can take it apart and have all of the different smaller creatures, or have it as one big creature. There's just so much variety in the build experience and the sub build experience that MK really excels at.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. But let's just be completely honest with ourselves. If we're moving on to the play experience category, we know Ninjago's the winner, right? They never fail to put fun play features in every one of their sets. So you could argue, oh, they do that with every Lego set, every Lego theme. They try to have fun play features. It's been an integral thing to the theme sets the very beginning in 2012. They wanted spin jitsu. They wanted you to physically play with these sets. They did not want these sets sitting on display and capturing dust. They wanted you to be spinning these spinners, hitting the skeletons off, and having a good time. Continues with air jitsu and everything. Every single Ninjago set just has a myriad of features and playability that makes you want to touch and play with the set. Let's just be honest with ourselves. What does Monkey Kid have? You're going to play as Monkey King and walk around with the stick? There is no fun. Where's the spin jitsu? Where's the air jitsu? Where's the water dragon? Dang it, they do have a water dragon.
Okay, you want to talk about play experiences. There's so many of the sets that have all sorts of split functions, like the Yellow Tusk Elephant splits off into a mech. The Dragon of the East, the back of the dragon pops off into a submarine. And then, of course, it's not counting all of the crazy wacky details included in things like the boat, the team headquarters, and the van, which have crazy stuff like arcade games and little kiddie playgrounds, weird stuff like that. I always go back to with MK how it's It's all about whimsy, and it captures that whimsical vibe in a lot of the sets that you can't find in hardly any other Lego theme. In Megalopolis City, you literally have a Ferris wheel, and that is awesome, and a working elevator. I don't think anything in Ninjago has a working crap.
Oh, wait, how about this? A working gondola.
No.
How about a working
Okay, okay.
gondola on a Monster Bridge?
No, but you can't rearrange the modules in Ninjago City markets, right?
You can
But you can
rearrange.
here.
You can rearrange any Lego brick that you want. You just take it apart and reinstate it.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have that amount of time or creativity to do that.
Yeah, most Monkey Kid fans wouldn't because they're lazy and they're dust collectors. Let's be honest. Let's keep Lego fun and let's not keep it this snobby, high priced. Okay, let's be completely frankly honest. Give me one reason how Monkey Kid minifigures would beat Ninjago minifigures.
Who else has a Buddhist monk in their Lego theme? Okay. That is pretty cool. Not just Buddhist monk, elephant minifigures, lion minifigures. And I'm not talking about Chima. I'm talking about you have all of this. You have Taoist deities and all sorts of crazy stuff in MK. It's just so wacky that you have demons, uh, gods, and everything in between.
You're gonna get the same Monkey Kid from 2020 to 2024, just with a different satchel or something. And you could argue, okay, we're getting Kai and Cole and all those guys. They give these ninjas new suits every single wave almost. Some of them are vastly differently themed than previously, such as knights, underwater, digital. They're always getting creative. So the pro tags get creative. Let's talk about the antagonists, which have always been an insane highlight of Ninjago. Starting with the skeletons, which were always dope. I mean, Daniel even agrees with that. Come on, 2011, 2012. Those were dope. And they just kind of continued that with the snakes, zany molds just out of nowhere. Like, this is a first for Lego where we're getting those kind of zany minifigure molds. You could just go on and on with the digital villains, with the Empress, the Empire villains this year, the underwater villains. So I think, yeah, it's not really fair because Ninjago's had more time than Monkey Kid, but Monkey Kid's almost about 5 years now. I don't think there's any excuse for us to be getting the same May and Monkey Kid with very slight variations. You know what I'm saying?
But no one's buying the MK sets for the MK or May figures. Well, at least I don't. We're getting it for all the other crazy stuff that you just cannot find in any other theme. You can't find in Ninjago, the Spider Queen demon. All you have are snakes and everything.
Okay, we know that's just a straight up lie. There's the ghosts. There's just, and yeah, they gotta reuse a lot of the Ninjago molds for Monkey Kid, like the ink demons. They got the same ghost mold. I understand, but have our seconds, Monkey Kid, because Ninjago paved the way. So who do you think wins on the minifig category? Now, just overall variety, different kinds of sets. Do I even need to say anything for Ninjago because they've always been innovating different kinds of sets. It's been a variety from creatures to vehicles to mechs to architectural buildings. Going off this last 2023, it's been a heavy emphasis on dragons. 2023 alone, we had 7 buildable dragons, 8 mechs, 11 vehicles, 3 architecture sets, and 1 wolf creature. So when we're talking about variety, Ninjago's got us covered.
Let me spin that back to you. If we're going back to quantity over quality, sure, you can have a theme with like 50 dragons and 70 mechs all in a single year. But how many of those are actually something that you will be proud of building and displaying? I don't want to diss on people who are proud of displaying any of those things, but let's just say you can have a single mech that you can build and be proud of displaying, like the Monkey King Ultra Mech, if we want to talk about 2023. You don't need like all this, like a bunch of the same thing. Literally, just this past year, MK also had mechs, crazy vehicles like a cloud airship, dragons, buildable huge creatures like a giant elephant. Like the variety in a single year is crazy, and not just because there are a lot of sets, is because there are a smaller number, sure, but within that smaller number, each of them are very, very distinct.
Who do you think has the better variety? They're definitely very, very comparable. Bonus category, the history of the theme. Ninjago is one of Lego's themes. Not very often does an original theme stand the test of time like this. Has it been now? 14 years? We're past a decade at this point. Will Monkey Kid stand that same test of time? I don't know. Maybe. But there's a reason that it's lasted so long. Now, we're not really going to talk about the show all too much, but there is something to be said about getting characters from a show that you like. You're invested into these characters.
Well, if you want to talk about history, I mean, Ninjago isn't older than, 1542 AD or whenever Journey to the West originally came out. Sure, maybe Lego's sequel take on it is a little more recent than Ninjago, but that history and those characters, especially the mythological ones, are huge, and there are already fan bases for these characters and demons and deities that Ninjago just doesn't have as much. The fact that we are now entering the 5th year of Monkey Kid is saying something. Most Lego original themes don't last past 2 3 years, especially if we look at like Nexonites, Chima, and a lot of other things like Hidden Side and stuff like that. So we've already outlasted that. We're entering the evergreen phase, and there's so much ground that could still be covered that has not been touched that I think that it will be here for a long time to come, and more fans will just be able to come and appreciate all the cool stuff that MK has to offer.
What do you guys think? What theme do you personally like better? I'll break out of character and say, my personal opinion, it's not a fact, it's just an opinion. I like Monkey Kid as a theme overall more. I don't even own a Monkey Kid set right now. I own a bunch of Ninjago sets. But guys, stop being like, oh, Ninjago so much better than Monkey Kid. Let's just be frank with ourselves. This deep, illustrious history of Journey to the West, we don't even understand it. Go and read this book. I'm holding it up right now. Go and read this book, Monkey King. I'm holding it in my hand. I'm like, holy crap. This is from the 1500s. Like, I'm reading like ancient script text, and the fact that Lego's making a theme and TV show adapting that is just crazy. It's so much more deeper than Ninjago could probably ever be, and they do a pretty good job of translating it in the sets with the mythological creatures, the mythological locations. My main complaint is I don't like all the Monkey Kid and May little side builds and whatnot, but as a theme, the worst Monkey Kid set is still a very good set, and you can't really say the same about Ninjago.
And I will say this, that the true winner is all of us, because we get to pick and choose out of what we want from these sets. Like, we can go on Lego.com and get, depending on our budget of course, any one of these sets, and there are some things that Ninjago does better in my opinion, some things that MK does better. Like, man, if you want like a Gundam inspired mech and stuff like that, Ninjago has just, they're killing it right now. If you want like the Ninjago city level stuff, wow, that's just amazing. And MK, if you want, like I said, the whimsical stuff, or kind of the crazy demon mythologically based builds, you could get it there. So literally, there's so many options right now that we cannot complain for fans of Lego original themes.
So in our personal ranking, price goes to Ninjago. Number of sets goes to Ninjago. Displayability goes to Monkey Kid. Build experience goes to Monkey Kid. Play experience, the same. Variety, basically the same. Minifigs go to Ninjago, and the history goes to Monkey Kid. Overall, it's dead even. Enjoy what you guys want to enjoy. Have fun. We're lucky to get these Lego sets at all. Have a great 2024. It's the year of dragons. Dragons rising.